Now, you may have been in the Cubs, the Scouts, the Beavers when you were younger. Was anyone else a Badger? I cannot have been the only Badger. I always think of the Scouts going off camping, learning to tie knots. There is a lot more going on to prepare kids for adult life. And in fact, the Scout Association is trialling its first new badge for Cubs and Beavers in 3 years. And it's a money skills badge. It's been developed to teach 6 to 10-year-olds about finance at a time when transactions are increasingly invisible, aren't they? We're doing more in-app payments. We're relying more on chip and PIN and online banking. So it's being tested out at a number of Scout groups, including 10th Fulwood in Preston.
My name is Sarah and I am 9 years old. I think it's important because at my age, when I go on holidays, sometimes they use different currencies like dollars and sometimes euros. So it's important for us to learn about them as well as pounds and pennies.
I'm Amira Patel and I'm 9 years old. I've learned how to manage money, how to save money, share money and spend it, and make sure we do it wisely and not to waste. And it's just better to know when you're a child.
Well, that's what the Cubs think. How did the association come up with the idea? Amy Butterworth is the Programme Design Manager at the Scout Association. Amy, good morning.
Good morning.
So why do we need this badge now?
Well, Scouts are committed to developing skills for life. And as you said, we do this through outdoor adventures like expeditions and camping. But in order to get there, you need to budget for your meal. You need to raise the funds for your hiking equipment. And so this badge gives young people that chance to practice those skills in a really fun, relevant environment so that they can apply it to their Scout experiences and then also their personal lives.
So what do they have to do to achieve this badge?
A number of things. So we consulted our young people to ask what they wanted. We used research from Young Money about how to go about those different skills, knowledge and attitudes. And we have Beavers learning how to decide between what they want and what they need by learning how to pack for a hike or designing their own coins. Cubs will learn how to save by collecting something in their own bank that they make themselves. It doesn't have to be money because not everyone has access to that. So making sure that they can understand that process of building to something that they can have later, or a physical game where they can budget for their camp meal based on whether they want to use a lowest cost menu or perhaps an organic one, so they can understand that the value that they choose impacts their community around them in a different way.
Now that budgeting skills is really important, isn't it? We've had a lot of people messaging in with what they wish they had been taught. Faith says, I had a monthly allowance which taught me about budgeting, and I worked in weekend afternoon jobs from the age of 15, which taught me the true cost of things. 4 hours work didn't even buy me a CD. And Johnny says, can you tell my kids to stop asking me for money? When you were designing this badge, did you get parents' involvement? Did they have any input?
Absolutely. We made sure that we were not only consulting our young people and our adult volunteers about what they wanted from the badge, but we asked parents, what do you wish you were taught? And so many of them, like your listeners, were saying that they needed to know about saving, they needed to know about budgeting, and giving young people that chance to practice in a really safe environment, in a really fun way, is such a great opportunity. So we're really excited about what you can do.
Now, we've been talking about branding and sponsorship on Wake Up to Money this morning, and you've got HSBC involved in helping you with this badge, haven't you?
Yes, we wanted to make sure that we were developing this as a skill for life anyway. And at the same time, HSBC were wanting to focus on developing primary age confidence in money skills, because we develop our financial habits by the age of 7. So it's really important for us to be able to get in there early. So they approached us. We've been working together for about 18 months on this partnership, and it's been a really supportive one.
I mean, financial skills, habits in place by the age of 7. Do you think that kids are being taught enough, or do you think this badge is going to fill a gap in the market that you're worried is a real gap in their skill set?
Well, learning about money is not yet compulsory in primary education, but aside from that, it's very much a skill for life that Scouts believe in. It's always been a part of our DNA, really. We've been fundraising for charities locally for decades, and making sure that our young people are feeling really confident is a really important thing. So I really hope it starts to show that not only can young people get access to this, but young people of all different kinds of learning styles, different economic backgrounds, are able to find their confidence in their money choices too.
June Angelides, venture capitalist with Samos, listening to that, I'm sure that everyone thinks we should be teaching kids more about money and just that practical budgeting thing that Amy was talking about there. Should we be teaching kids about things like venture capital or entrepreneurship or that kind of thing? And how do we do that?
Absolutely. And I talk to my kids all the time about the deals that I'm working on, helping them understand why they need capital to be able to turbocharge their businesses. It's important to have that conversation because they are the future entrepreneurs. They need to understand how their financial decisions today will impact that ability for them to really get going, because they will have tons of ideas. And, we can see entrepreneurs as early as, teenagers or even earlier, but capital is often the biggest barrier to people getting started. So imagine if our 7-year-olds start putting money aside for when they have that great big idea.
I'd just be happy if my 7-year-old wasn't just wasting money on Roblox as often as he is. Amy, what's your favourite activity as part of this badge, do you think?
We've had so much fun working with our volunteers and with our young people coming up with ideas. And one I'm particularly excited about is one that we've called Zakat. So if you're a practicing Muslim, it's quite typical to donate 2.5% of your income to charity as part of one of the 5 pillars of Islam. But 2.5% is quite hard to imagine. So we take snacks and break them down into what 2.5% of that might look like to help young people understand what that would be. And then even though that looks quite small, once you put everybody's 2.5% together, you can see that it makes something bigger. So not only are you learning through snacks, but you're also understanding that even if you can't give an enormous amount, that anytime that you're putting something to somebody else, you're leaving the world a better place than you found it. And that's the Scouts' whole thing.
I do all my best learning with snacks. Amy Butterworth, thank you so much. That's Amy Butterworth, the Programme Design Manager at the Scout Association, telling us there about their new money badge. Loads of messages coming in